In this video, I'd like to talk about some of the details of hand fitting a Fortis REV handguard to the LWRC Stretch Lightweight. In a previous video, I showed this gun shooting with my drop-in auto sear. It functions very well. And I have a link in that video to some pages on ar15.com with pictures and some descriptions about how this was done. But I had said that I'd do a real brief video and go over some of the details of how we hand fit this REV lightweight handguard, which is free float, attaches to a standard barrel nut, and we want to put this on the Stretch Lightweight. Several modifications have to be done. So let's go over some of the details. This is the subject gun in question. This is my LWRC Stretch Lightweight that we've taken out in the field and we've shown. It's been mated with the Fortis handguard to the Stretch Lightweight body. And the key areas of concern are right around where the gas block is. Now, what you see is underneath the rail, this is the gas block that I've trimmed down to fit under the rail. So I've taken an A2 gas block and taken off all the excess metal to get it to fit under the rail. And then here's the gas cup. And so the only part that's going to move under here, this gas cup, is going to go back just a couple of inches. And so inside the rail, the area where we needed a little extra clearance was just right in here, just a few thousandths. Now what we started with is a situation very similar to this. This is a LWRC modification to a Colt M4, but you have the A2 front sight base, and then this is the LWRC gas piston system. So what we have to do is trim off excess. We've got the take off the top of the A2 sight base, and then the bayonet lug on the bottom, and these two little tips. And what I did is use a hacksaw just to cut through at this level and at this level, and hacksaw to cut off the lug and these two tips. And then I used a simple tabletop disc sander with some coarse sandpaper, and I used that to round off the edges, and I actually had to take just a little bit of metal and round off the bottoms as well so that it would fit inside the handguard. And then once I got the gas block itself to fit, the only issue was this piston cup, which is 0.5 inches in diameter, and the inside of the rail itself, this clearance right here, is also 0.5 inches. So we had to get just a little extra material just in these areas right here inside the handguard. And the way that I did that was by taking a 0.5 inch metal and wooden dowel, just kind of use both just to see what would work, and use contact cement, and glued a little coarse sandpaper. And then, just as an example, this is one of the rails here, and so we had to take off just on the inside, we had to take off some of the metal so that the piston cup would pass through. Here, we'll turn it up. That's the top, and the piston cup has to pass through just a few inches right here. So this is the only area that we needed clearance. Okay, and I did that by simply taking the dowel and placing it where I felt like I needed the clearance, and then just by hand, just sanding back and forth, and then fitting and sanding and fitting until I felt like I had just enough clearance for this to move freely. And then we took it out in the field and test fired it, and it worked very well. So the key in regards to the A2 front sight base is, this is the one that's been modified. You have to actually round a little bit, and there again, this was done just a little bit at a time, and then I kept hand fitting to see if I could get the hand guard to slide over it. So I completely rounded off the front sight base. Go from a gas block, which is the standard A2 gas block. Remove all the excess metal and end up with a gas block that is very minimal. Now, of note, I did not remove the gas block. I did all the work on the gas block with it still pinned to the barrel. The alignment is critical, and this is done at the factory, and I did not want to take a chance on changing that. Anytime you modify a gun like this, obviously you're going to give up the factory warranty. And so I didn't want to take any chances on doing something that might change the alignment and cause this not to function well. So I did all of the trimming of the gas block while the gas block pins were still intact and in place. So I hope this video showed you the few little details. You really just need to trim the gas block down as much as possible. And then the piston cup just has to have a few thousandths of clearance. This is my modified handguard. And there again, I just used a homemade sandpaper and went inside the top of the rail and just sanded, so I got a few thousandths clearance, just enough for the gas cup. Only obviously if you do any modifications to your gas block, you will void the warranty, and so you do any modifications at your own risk. But I hope you enjoyed it. I like the challenge, and the gun functions very well. Once again, you can look at the link and see the ar15.com thread where we talked about this and showed some of the still photographs. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.